Be blessed by the divine. How can meditation help us to get over depressions? The depression of the mind sometimes affects us. Sometimes such depression can affect us for a long period of time. Sometimes the depression can be quite intense in our mind. Let us take an example. Let us say that we are taken over by a depression of financial circumstances. We have all must have faced this at some point of time in our past. And we may have our methods to overcome this kind of depression in our life. How can we handle such a financial depression in our mind? Perhaps there is a fear of losing money, the fear of not having money, the fear of poverty has taken over our heart. How do we handle such a depression? Let me tell you how I handle it. I take some time off. I go deep into myself and I try to find out why is this feeling of depression coming in the first place. I find most of the times it is because either I have no idea as to how to earn more money, or I have not aligned my actions towards implementation of plenty of ideas that I've already generated. Usually it is the second reason and not the first reason. Perhaps there is also a third reason, that you have put in your effort, but the results are waiting to come. And in the period, or in the interim period of your waiting for the results to come into your hands, there might be certain external circumstances that could lead you towards having a momentary period of lull, and that can certainly lead you to depression. Either way, the way to look at this whole thing is to classify your depression into one of the four categories. Plan and act. 99% of the time, a financial worry will fall under plan and act. If you are able to increase, improve, enhance your competencies that are relevant for the society, and if you are able to identify the pain, problems, fears and passions of the people who you like to serve, and if you have come up with a solution that can solve the problems, overcome the pain and address the fear and address the passions of the customers, certainly the customers, therefore the society at large, will certainly take care of you and help you become prosperous and wealthy. The second classification is you simply need to ignore. You postpone this whole thing. Certainly at some point of time in the future, especially when there is a social unrest or a social problem that was induced by change of government policies, such as, let us say, the demonetization that we have seen in the last about 2 months in India. You can certainly wait for this change to take place and take effect. We know that in the long term, there is going to be a significant shift of economic gears, and new opportunities will evolve in the shift of gears. Move towards that and put your efforts in those directions, and you will certainly succeed. The third one is to endure this problem for some time. Remember though that many worries cannot be endured, but there are some worries for which you have absolutely no solution whatsoever. For instance, let us say that your loved one has fallen ill with a terminal illness, such as, let us say, cancer. There is nothing that you can do about it except to wait for the disease to become all right, or the wait for the eventual separation of the soul from this person, because there is perhaps no cure for this person. You simply have to prepare your mind that such an eventuality will come and the pain will permanently go away from this person, and liberation will certainly come for this person in the form of higher journey into the almighty space itself. The fourth way of dealing with depression is to classify some of your worries under ignore category. For instance, let us say that there is an old man or an old woman in the house who is constantly finding fault with you, perhaps your father, perhaps your grandfather, grandmother, or perhaps your mother-in-law, who is constantly finding fault with you. There is nothing you can do about it. You cannot plan an act. You cannot continue to endure this also. And you cannot really work on them in any other way. The best way is to continuously ignore and not react to them whatsoever. Eventually they will get bored and they will stop criticizing you and you can remain peaceful. By first focusing your mind on your life force at the Duriya Chakra, Sahasrahara Chakra, you will be able to go into the alpha level of mind and then classify the worries and find a resolution which you can superimpose with, and superimpose the old depression habit with the new fresh act or a thought by which you can overcome this worry. By constantly superimposing and by increasing the strength of the new thought pattern, you will certainly overcome depression in your life. Be blessed by the Divine.